Hi, everybody. So happy to share one of my favorite lessons to nurture public speaking and listening, which are often forgotten standards. So every grade level has these two standards for speaking and listening with slight variations. So students need opportunities to practice formal and informal presentations, and students need practice with active listening. So there's two different standards. So here are my speaking and listening goals, and I have like early, mid, and end. So this is through the course of the early is sort of ongoing, and the mid and the end are during the unit. So the early speaking goals, notice I'm using SMART. By the end of class, students will be able to individually verbally present and record a piece of their own writing from their notebook to a personal device 3 times using Veep. So that's my strategy. I'll explain that in a second. And the listeners are doing this all the time. During daily writing practice, students listen to a peer, read their writing, and respond verbally to one comment as a writer, reader, or human, citing a phrase from the writer to demonstrate their listening. So this is stuff that we do pretty regularly, but in our speaking unit, this is the first step. Then in another lesson, by the end of class, students will be able to individually present a piece of their own writing from their notebook once to a small group. So stakes are a little bit higher there, to a peer or small group, using the same public speaking rubric, and they're going to accept constructive feedback for future practice. And so over here, for the listeners, the other students are going to listen to their peer read their piece and give them that feedback. And then by the end, they're going to present, they're going to do a TED Talk, and they're going to present their 1 to 3 minute, their 3-minute written argument to the class. So by the end of the unit, students will be able to individually present 3-minute written argument to the class with image dominant slides. So they have a presentation meeting all the Veep goals. So you can see the goal just gradually gets a little bit more higher stakes as we develop our speaking practice. And then the students listening are going to listen to their peers present their argument to the class and then document it on a listening sheet, demonstrating that they understand Veep for each classmate. So one of the ways I did this is to show examples of public speaking that are strong and weak. This is a staged example, so you want to let the students know what it means and sort of what it looks like to have strong public speaking skills. So this is a great video. I won't show the whole thing, but I'll just share.
Welcome to
The British imposed a lot of unpopular taxes on the Americans.
So they show, this example shows like a person reading directly from the script, not being prepared, being a little bit distracted, and then sort of practicing some of those skills and then coming back at the end.
Now, I feel better.
To present with a little.
It's important to recognize when you're stressed.
So that's one of the things that we're working on in the unit, is to develop that confidence using that Veep strategy, which I'm going to. So the way that it works is practicing. The students are going to select things from their notebook that they've been writing daily every day. So they're going to pick 1 or 2 of these each time we do activities to share that they want to practice reading with a partner. So their notebook should be filled with lots of low stakes things. This is the Veep: volume, eye contact, expression, pace, pronunciation, and professionalism. I'm actually really proud of this rubric because I think it's really humanizing and specific to the point of public speaking, which is to impact the audience. So this part, we have volume. We can hear you in the back of the room. You might make your voice louder or softer in certain parts to emphasize something or show passion, or you may make the audience lean in and soften your voice a little bit so your volume doesn't distract from your message. So a lot of times if the students aren't speaking loud enough, we can't hear their message, and that's the point. Eye contact, I don't think we want students to actually have things memorized because that's a little awkward, but if they know what they're reading or presenting good enough that they can look at the audience from a couple different points of view, so kind of making eye contact with people in front of them, to their left, to their right, showing that they know their content well and that they're trying to engage or connect with the audience. Expression, is the way that they use the words and the phrases to show that they're in their words with the mood and tone. So we want to hear people shifting their expression depending on what part of the speech they're reading. Sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's lighthearted, sometimes it's fast or slow, which moves us to pace. So students will present in the time allowed, which in this case is going to be 3 minutes at the end, and at a pace that matches the content and the mood. So faster, slower, for us to hear and process words, slowing down if there's something very, very important to pay attention to. Pronunciation or elocution, articulation, any of these words, that the students clearly practice the words, that they've looked up words that they don't know, like listening to them on a dictionary online. So that, again, the audience isn't distracted when the pronunciation isn't strong, and that might take away from the message. And then finally, professionalism, that the student clearly prepared for the performance. They stand strong without swaying. They say thank you at the end. They embrace the applause at the end so that they're letting the audience show their appreciation, and that their demeanor is professional all the way throughout, and it matches the content. So we don't need giggling during serious parts. That's kind of what that's about. So their practice, first they're practicing with their self. And so this is an example of a student reading to himself.
That night it was cold, that night it was windy, that night I left the door unlocked.
So it's really helpful for students to see themselves doing this, either into a video or into a mirror. The second is with a partner or small group, which you might record or not record, but here's an example. You can hear the neighbor.
Okay, that was a story.
Yep.
What do you think? What do you want the reader to know about, like, the main character?
So it's a little bit of a peer conference there, but the other classmate is practicing their listening. So that's an important piece.
Okay, that was.
And then finally in front of the class.
Hold on.
Going?
Yeah, it is, but
Oh, okay.
it might crash.
Hello,
No, it's fine.
my name is Karini. This piece is a story, and it is about the time that I was sick. I awoke from my slumber, eyelids heavy, to hear the awful bleep of the alarm. I turned onto my side, knowing it would take forever to climb down from my loft-high bed.
Okay, so you can see that they're recording and practicing it.
Yeah, it is, but
Here's another example.
Hi, my name's Leanna. This piece is a narrative. It is about a house fire, and it was kind of inspired by the fire in The Outsiders. Fire. Fire on the roof, fire on the steps, fire in my eyes. My family's house is burning right in front of me, and there's nothing I can do to stop it but watch. I see the boards of my house crumble and collapse with each defeating clunk I hear.
Okay, so during the speaking part, what are the peers doing? So they're listening. So this is the listening note. So you have the names of the speaker, features that they're celebrating, and then evidence of their listening by marking citations or direct phrases or quotes from what they're hearing. So students are practicing their listening while others are practicing their speaking. Here you can see the Veep listed again, so we can kind of pay attention to the volume, eye contact. Just in that last video, you saw Leanna with really strong volume. She was checking in with the audience with great eye contact. Her expression, you could hear her saying fire, that was very serious tone. Her pace might have been a little fast, but it's also about fire. So it's really an important and alarming kind of topic. And her professionalism, you could tell that she practiced because her voice shifts right away as soon as she starts presenting. And then afterwards, the students will give compliments, verbal compliments to the speaker. So what is the teacher doing during that time? The teacher pulls up their grade book and grades the presentation while it's happening. So we don't have to watch those videos again or anything. You just open up your grade book and you have columns for each of the different criteria. Veep for the speaking. 2 means strong, 1 means needs work and you didn't hear it, but nobody really gets a 0. And then some comments if there's a 1. So maybe the next time the student redoes it, or the student comes at that lunch to redo it, or there's a revision day where all the students do it again, and then practice that professionalism. So that's the gradebook piece. So I really like this lesson. I think it's, I think it builds on and builds up presentation skills leading toward effective speaking. And I think Veep is a great mnemonic device for thinking about speaking, and it gives students chances to speak and to listen, and it really nurtures community. Students love this, and we do this sort of public sharing every week in junior high, but you could also do it quarterly or once a month or however often. So love those materials, and I will share them with you.